You ever look at a builder's drawing and just see, a bunch of confusing lines and boxes? Well, today we're going to turn all that confusion into clarity. We're going to decode the site plan, which is basically the essential treasure map for any construction project.
I mean, really, just think about it for a second. How do you put up a whole building without accidentally hitting a water line? Or maybe building on your neighbor's property? Or even worse, having the whole thing flood the first time it rains? Well, the answer is this right here. You start with a really detailed plan that shows you exactly where everything is and where everything needs to go. This right here is the hero of our story, the site plan. Okay, so let's dive into what this thing actually is. What is this document that basically stands between a successful build and a really, really expensive mistake? At its core, it's pretty simple. A site plan is like a bird's eye view, an aerial map of a piece of property. It lays out all the existing features and shows what new stuff is going to be added and precisely where it's all going to be. And its whole purpose is crystal clear. It's meant to be the one single source of truth for the entire construction team. This makes sure that everyone, and I mean everyone, is on the same page, building things correctly, safely, and exactly where they're supposed to be. All right, now for the fun part. Let's actually break this map down and learn how to read its language, starting with the most basic fundamental markings. First up, we've got property lines. And honestly, these might be the most important lines on the entire plan. See, they're not just suggestions. They are the absolute legal limits of the property. Everything you build has to be inside them, and usually a certain distance away from them, which is a little detail called a setback. Super important. So on the plan, you can see them right here, these bold lines that kind of form a big container for the whole project. Think of it as rule number one of construction. Know your boundaries, and whatever you do, don't cross them. Next up, we've got the star of the show, the building itself. The plan is going to show its exact shape, its precise location on the plot of land, and of course, its overall dimensions, how big it is. And this is so crucial because it helps you actually visualize the final result. You can really see how the house sits on the land, how much yard space you'll have left over, and how it all relates to everything else around it. Okay, now let's talk about something you can't really see from a simple top-down view: height. You'll often see these curvy contour lines on a more detailed plan. These are elevation markers, and they show how high or low the ground is. Is the land totally flat, or does it have a slope? So why on earth does that matter? Well, I'll give it to you in 2 words: water flow. Understanding the elevation is absolutely critical for designing proper drainage. It makes sure that rainwater flows away from your house, not, into your basement. But a building is so much more than just walls and a roof, right? It needs to be connected to the world. So let's take a look at the hidden systems that actually bring a structure to life. We're talking about utilities. These are the lifelines connecting the home to the outside world. You've got water coming in, waste going out, and of course, power for everything in between. The site plan shows you exactly where all those connections are. You can see the planned paths for water and sewer lines, and even the location for a well. Trust me, you definitely don't want to start digging without knowing where this stuff is. And for properties that aren't connected to a city sewer, the plan will also show the location of really important on-site systems, like a septic tank. This is the system that treats wastewater, and its placement is absolutely key for health and environmental safety. Now, here's a good question. How do we know if that house on the plan is the size of a shoebox or a mansion? Well, that's where the scale comes in. It's like the secret decoder key, telling you how the measurements on the drawing translate to the real world. I mean, without an accurate scale, the plan is just a pretty sketch. The scale is what makes it a precise tool. It guarantees that every single element is the right size and in the right place relative to everything else. Okay, so we've looked at all the individual pieces of the puzzle: the lines, the shapes, the hidden systems. Now let's put it all back together and see the big picture. I know. That was a lot of information. You might be wondering, how does anyone keep track of all these essential parts of a site plan? Well, looky for you, there's a little trick for that. Just remember this handy little checklist: PSEUSSP. It stands for property lines, the shape of the building, elevation, utilities, the septic system, and the scale of the drawing. Oh, and that last P? That's for the property description. That's the block of text that gives you all the core details, like the address and the legal lot number. It's a really quick way to double-check that all the key info is there. So let's look at this one last time.
What might have seemed like just a jumble of random lines at the beginning is now a totally readable, understandable map. You can see the boundaries, the house, the utilities. You can see the entire plan of action. It just goes to show you, with a little bit of knowledge, these really complex documents can become simple, powerful tools. Which kind of makes you wonder, what other secrets are hidden out there in plain sight, just waiting to be decoded in the blueprints of our world?